Everyone knows that Roblox has the best, most high-quality horror games you could ever imagine. So I put myself through playing hours of supposedly terrifying Roblox horror games so I could bring you the most terrifying as well as the most terrifyingly bad of Roblox horror experiences. A lot of it is either a ripoff or a blatant copy of other games, or just downright cheesy and garbage with a bunch of jump scares. However, that being said, I think there's some good stuff. Some good examples of horror games with quality that everyone should strive to produce. So without further ado, here is good versus bad Roblox horror. The theme park experience. So I'm going to be avoiding covering brainrot games like
Tralalero tralala versus tung 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 sahur,
because I prefer to keep my sanity. However, I will be covering slop games, which is an ongoing issue where creators produce cheap garbage horror experiences and just make the same game in a different font hundreds of times just to squeeze every last penny out of it that they can. When I say that so many Roblox horror games are copies of poorly made Steam games, I mean it. Which if the game is already bad, it's only getting worse from here. This is Midnight Cashiers, yet another simulator game where nothing scary happens while you're in a world of poorly animated characters. There's even like 20 clones just in different settings made from the same creator. Like what is this? It's like if you asked ChatGPT to come up with generic Roblox horror titles. The theme park experience opens up with generic dialogue that is spoken by a text-to-speech boss that gives you orders for the opening day of the park.
Tonight is the opening night of our theme park. Before we open up to the public, I need you to set up a few things.
Right off the bat, you start to realize exactly how this is going to go. Do tasks to waste time, to get you to play longer because there's no actual enticing gameplay or mechanics. So first you have to turn on the lights, set up the prizes, which there is a ton of tasks to do, which then leads to the power being cut off in an attempt to build suspense. Just to establish a generic antagonist that appears glued to the ceiling.
I will do everything in my power to destroy you, your boss, and all the people here. And lastly, I will explode the Ferris wheel.
I don't know what this guy has against the specific theme park or why he wants to destroy the Ferris wheel, but the realistic solution would be to clock out and go home because there's no way you get paid enough to deal with this. So the character you play decides, instead of calling the police initially to report someone trying to blow up the park, that it's a better solution just to let his boss know. The boss must be Mr. Krabs because he's way too worried about losing profits to shut down the theme park.
There's no time to shut down the park.
Then he has the bright solution to just place some security cameras around. Like that's gonna save the day. So after more agonizing tasks and incredibly fast-paced gameplay, we check the security cameras and it shows that the man that was glued to the ceiling before got unstuck and is deciding to plant a bomb on C.
Bomb has been planted.
Then after alerting the SWAT
emergency?
team, you get hit with an insane dilemma: to fight or run. Now here it is, the climax, the most intense part of the game. And the game broke. Bro, I'm not playing this trash again. Weird Strict Dad. Now this next one has been covered quite a bit, but I think it needs to be trashed on a little more. Weird Strict Dad is a game where you have a, surprise, weird strict dad that makes you do chores while having a disturbing expression on his face. I love doing tasks. One thing I will say is at least there's some sort of risk to this game because you have to sneak around without getting caught by dad. So after he makes you go to sleep, you check the security cameras and it looks like dad is talking to his Fent dealer on the front porch. This causes him to go insane and terrorize his children. After exiting the CCTV cameras, it was too dark and I couldn't even see where I was going. However, I was given no time to actually go out of the room and attempt to play the game due to the fact that dad ends up coming back too quickly, which just results in me losing the game. Sinister elevator. Now just when you thought the slop was over, it gets even worse. In this game, you get on an elevator which takes you to different floors of scary entities. Except instead of trying to be scary, it uses creepypastas from 13 years ago and, well, cheap jump scares. The first floor I entered is occupied by the most terrifying character I can think of, the Joker.
Why so serious?
The next floor you encounter another familiar face with a horrific jump scare where I would definitely, piss myself if this was 2010. And it gets to a point where we enter a map that's so small I can't even tell what's going on anymore because I get bombarded with the sound of like 20 people using their gear and bullying the killer. A truly immersive experience, a true cluster of horror slop with no attempt to be original. So now that we have the bad out of the way, what exactly makes a good Roblox horror game? The foundation. Foundation is a spin-off of the already famous horror game Doors, a fan-made game that expands on the universe and, in terms of overall quality, does not fall short of an enjoyable experience as far as Roblox games go, because that's what it is, an experience. It's a very polished game with repetitive but intense gameplay. Even from the intro, the developers spared no expense. The animation and soundtrack is captivating, and I can't help but just be impressed by the effort that was put into it. It takes almost 50 minutes to beat the game, which by Roblox standards is pretty impressive for a solo game like this. One of my favorite aspects about these types of experiences is, in general, cutscenes, which there are quite a few of. This, paired with a notable soundtrack, makes this exciting to play. All of the mechanics feel really smooth. This feels like it falls more into maybe adventure rather than the horror genre, but if you don't like the main mechanic, which is running away from threats constantly and trying to find doors, maybe this won't be the game for you. It's not your standard horror game, but impressive visuals nonetheless, and hats off to these developers. Silent Dark would probably be classified as a traditional Roblox horror game, as it has a lot of tropes.
Authorities are yet to find the cause of numerous disappearances around Augur.
But I think this one is a bit different. It's like if Roblox made a game with analog horror aesthetics. You appear in your house while listening to the radio talk about aliens. Paranoid, you rush to close the doors and secure the windows. The grain filter ties it all together, although it hurt my eyes a little bit. The dark house and clock ticking in the background make the atmosphere feel dark yet liminal. You rush upstairs to your room, trying to convince yourself that nobody can get in, and soon you fall asleep. You have an odd dream where you end up exploring a house, finding a key, and walking into a door illuminated by light. You wake up, realizing it was a dream, but still paranoid. You go downstairs, and to your horror, the door is wide open. Once again, you go back upstairs and force yourself to go to sleep. We enter yet another dream, but this one looks different. You're transported to a laboratory of some sort. After exploring it for a bit, you then open a door and read some writing on the wall that says, "The awakening has arrived." Now, terrified, you run out of your house, scurrying to turn on all the lights. Is it just your mind playing tricks on you, or is there something more to this? Now for a third time you go back to your room, forcing yourself to fall asleep. There it is again, the white laboratory. What could it all mean?
There's something down here. I think my friend got eaten by whatever that thing is.
You do some more searching and find one more door. This one doesn't open. You then proceed to hear the most horrific screeching behind you, getting closer. And you wake up to what you think is your room, but after opening the door, this is not a dream. It's dreamception. You don't know what's real and what's not. Once again, awake, trying to convince yourself that nothing can get in. And for the last time, you fall asleep. You appear in a telephone booth and hear the man from the radio speak.
Hey, it's almost midnight, and I have something important to ask.
Are you afraid? Silent Dark is a psychological game, a game with a deeper meaning. A game that teaches you not to run from it anymore. Whatever you're afraid of, whatever that may be.